Hello and welcome, guys, to a new episode on Sport Predictor Fanatic. Today we're going to predict the first matches of the Wimbledon 2024, starting on the 1st of July. While I'm recording this, it's literally the 1st of July. I know I'm a bit late with this video. Like the first matches had literally started like 5 seconds ago. Like I just got all the messages on my screen that it was starting. But yeah, I'm late to this because I'm a little bit sick. I still am, but I'm feeling like the best at the moment. So I thought let's do it now. But yeah, I'm not watching tennis as of the moment, so I can speak about it, I think. We're just gonna start off with the first match, Arnaldi against TFO. TFO hasn't had a great year. He also had to retire a few days ago at the Queen's Club tournament. But he can actually draw some confidence out of the stat that he is like 5 wins, 1 loss at the first round at Wimbledon, I think it is. Yeah, and Arnaldi has looked alright this year actually, and performed pretty consistent the whole year through. He has played 3 matches on grass, which isn't that much, with one win against Humbert, 1 loss against Hijikata, and 1 loss against Gassot, also a French one. And I think even with like the better form this year from Arnaldi, TFO will still show his class and win this matchup. So yeah, the first one is TFO. Then I have Bolt against Casper Ruud. Ruud has never shown many interest in the grass, and this season has like not been different from that. He is, instead of like playing a few matches to prepare, he's literally just rested for a few weeks. So yeah, he only has like 5 wins on grass, with 2 coming at the Wimbledon. On a positive note, though, he is on a 10 winning streak in the first rounds at the Grand Slams, so he might extend that. And he's against qualifier Bolt, who really likes playing on grass. He has won 18 matches on grass with 2 losses this year, although it was on like I think ITF level. And he's like 1-on-1, just 1 win, 1 loss in the first round at Wimbledon. And I think actually it will be a hard match for Ruud, but I still think Ruud will pull this out of the bag. And then we have Coric against Miligani Alves. I don't know how to say it, but that's how I'm going to call it. Coric himself is in a bad form. He's only won 12 matches out of the 26 he has played this year. And has only played 2 matches at grass this year as well. With that, he's never been great on grass. He has lost 5 of 6 main draw matches at Wimbledon, so he only won 1. Melanie Alves defeated Marchenko, Delore, and Cressy to actually qualify. This is actually the first time for him he's had a Grand Slam other than Roland Garros, where he has made, I think, 3 appearances. And I think this will be a matchup where the one who makes the least faults will actually win the match. And I think this is going to be Coric, just pure based on his experience. And then we have Dimitrov against Lajovic. I think Dimitrov chose for less preparation and more rest for Wimbledon, which doesn't really have to be a problem for him, as he has actually proven he can adapt easily and play on grass pretty well. He's only played, I think, 1 grass tournament where he dominated Manarino, but then lost in a close contested match against an in-form Korda, which isn't a shame, of course. Lajovic played 2 exhibition matches on grass. There are no real matches, and he hasn't played real matches on grass either. He's only won, in his career, he's only won 11 out of the 30 matches on grass. With that said, I think Grigor Dimitrov will actually get this W. Then we have Garin against Zhang. Zhang has improved a lot this year in ranking, but also performing wise. In 2023, he failed in the first round of qualifying for Wimbledon, but because of his good year, he placed himself automatically for Wimbledon. He also reached a quarterfinal Eastbourne, and that was a tournament he actually had to qualify for, so he has like 2 extra wins, and then came to the quarterfinal, which I think will give him like a huge boost. And then we have Garin, who is actually surprisingly good at grass because he's like from South America and they don't really have grass fields there. Wimbledon is actually his first Grand Slam where he reached the second week, and a year later even reached the quarterfinals. Garin has qualified for Wimbledon by beating Koka, Barrios Vera, and Shkatov, only dropping one set in those 3 matches. I think this will be a close match, but I think with the like a little bit better, more informed Zhang, he will actually get the win here against Garin. But I think it will be a close match. Then we have Jarry against Shapovalov. Shapovalov has like played 3 matches at grass this season. He lost 2 of them and won 1. And the one he won wasn't really convincing. He should be like kind of confident though, because at Wimbledon he reached his only Grand Slam semi-final in 2019, and in 2023, where he actually had like a pretty horrible year with injuries, he still reached the second week at Wimbledon. So maybe some good luck for Shapovalov. But Jarry hasn't played a match since his unexpected first round loss at Roland Garros against Moutet. Jarry did reach the 1/16 finals last year, where he lost against, of course, Alcaraz, who went on to win it. This is a pretty hard match to predict due to not knowing like Jarry's state of mind and his form. But I actually believe that Jarry will actually come back strong and still win this match. Then we have Kotov against Thompson. Thompson didn't have the best preparation last year at Wimbledon. He then went on to win the first round with a comeback, but lost the second like in 3 sets. This year he's only played like 5 matches on grass, so he's like fit for Wimbledon. He did feel it like at the first round in the Netherlands at Hertogenbosch, but then reached the semis at the Queen's Club, which was a little bit of a surprise. Kotov, on the other hand, has had a grueling Roland Garros with a 5-setter win, then a 4-setter win, and like he didn't play a match after that as well. But last year he looked respectable on grass. But I think with having played on grass yet, I think Thompson is going to get this dub. Then Struff against Marusan. Struff had an illness in Stuttgart in his first grass match this season. I must say tournament this season, forcing him to actually withdraw from the quarterfinals. But a week later, he came back in Halle, where he performed good, including a win over Stefanos Tsitsipas. He did lose against like Sinner in the quarterfinals, but that's of course no shame because he went on to win it. He's never made an impact at Wimbledon before, despite being alright on grass. But that was also because of his unlucky draw. He drew Federer, Medvedev, and Alcaraz, to name just a few. On the other, Marusan has lost 3 out of the 4 matches on grass this season, and also has like a bad form at Wimbledon, because it's the only Grand Slam where he actually hasn't reached the second round yet. And I think with this like superior form from Jan-Lennart Struff, he will actually get this win, and quite comfortably, I have the feeling as well. By the way, there's a fly like flying everywhere, so if I'm doing this or something, that's why. And then we had Van Asse against Fabio Fognini. Van Asse's hard work in the qualifying didn't get lost, as he is got in with a lucky loser, because Kupfer actually withdrew. With this being his second Wimbledon and having lost in the first round last year, he will hope for a little bit of a better outcome this year. In the quali, it actually had three setters and lost, of course, the final against Pouille, but still got in as a lucky loser. Van Assen had actually a good year in 2023, but in 24 he's actually having some issue. Fognini, on the other hand, hasn't shown much interest on the grass, although he actually looked all right in Mallorca. Although grass is not his favorite, he still won 10 out of the 13 opening matches he has had at Wimbledon, so that's definitely not bad. I think with the struggles for Van Assen this season, I think Fabio Fognini will get this W. Then it's time for Berrettini against Martin Fucsovics. Berrettini has actually shown that when his fitness is there, he can perform great. And he has actually taken a week off before Wimbledon, so that should really help him. In Stuttgart, he actually became second behind Jack Draper. And we must not forget that Berrettini is actually one of the best grass players in the world. With 3 of his 4 losses ever on Wimbledon were against the big ones. Like in 2019, he played 8-time champion Roger Federer. In 2021, he played 7-time champion Djokovic. In 2023, he played Alcaraz, who of course eventually went on to win Wimbledon. So those were 3 out of the 4 losses he has had on Wimbledon. Fucsovics also didn't have like the best of years. Like a bad start of the year, followed with a win in Bucharest, which of course on clay. But since then he actually hasn't had a win, and he hasn't actually played on grass yet. I think with this it's pretty easy to say Berrettini will get this W. Then we have Monfils against Manarino. Monfils actually played great in Mallorca, where he reached the semi-final. This was even more impressive because this is actually his first grass tournament since 2021, because other years he missed the grass season due to injury. This is the only, Wimbledon is like the only Grand Slam where he actually hasn't reached a quarterfinal yet, so I think he will be motivating for that. And Manarino, normally like a really good grass specialist, but hasn't had a good grass season. He lost 3 out of 4 matches, and even though match he won, it wasn't that convincing. He was a bit lucky there, I think. In the 15 events, he hasn't reached. In the 15 times he has like played Wimbledon, he hasn't reached quarterfinals, and that is even with him being a grass specialist mainly. And in the last 7 matches, he lost 5 times. I think with that said, I still think it's going to be a close match, but Monfils with the better form at this moment, I think he will get this dub. Then we have Zhang against Janvier. I don't know how to say it, but I think it's French. Zhang actually suffered 2 first round exits on grass, but will still, I think, be confident after the tournament in Halle, where he reached the semi-final, where he lost against Sinner, who of course went on to win it. He did beat Offner, who was actually playing really well the last few times, so that was quite impressive. Then he beat Medvedev and Eubanks to actually reach the semi-final, which isn't a bad run. He was in the main draw of Wimbledon 2 times and lost like both opening matches. And Janvier is actually a surprise at Wimbledon. Before qualifying, he had actually only 1 win on grass in his whole career, and lost like 8 of the last 10 matches overall. There's so on any service before the quali. In the quali, he actually beat Hasu. I don't know how to say it, but very weird country. Like I don't know the flag. Nava, and he beat a pretty in form Mpetashi Perikar. And then in combination with the fact that Zhang has won 3 matches against Janvier already, makes me still pick Zhang. I think he's just overall the better player, and he's got his number. Then it's Altmaier against the wildcard Ferry. Altmaier chose to play on clay, even though he could have played on grass after Roland Garros, but he chose like for clay. It isn't a weird choice for him because grass is like his least favorite surface. In his only two Wimbledon main appearances, he has lost the first round matchups, so he hasn't got a win at Wimbledon yet. Fury has played some matches on grass, but failed to make an impact for now. He lost 4 out of the fair matches. With that said, it's also like a pretty hard match to predict. I think if Ferry shows his like his A level on grass, I think he will get the win. But he hasn't done that yet. So with this, I'm still going for the more experienced and like all-round better player Altmaier to actually win this. Okay, then we have Baez. I don't know how to say it, Baez against Nakashima. Nakashima really had to rebuild this year after an injury-prone year in 2023. He has done it quite well, and also on grass he's played quite well with 6 wins out of the 9 matches he played this season. He also had like a half final in Stuttgart, which isn't bad either. Wimbledon is the only event where Nakashima has reached the second week as well, so that's quite noticeable. Baez really doesn't like the grass and lost like both matches he played on this year. With that said, I think Baez doesn't like the grass, and Nakashima will take a dub right here. Okay, then we have Kovacevic against Medvedev. Medvedev has actually had some struggles this year with form and injuries. He also started like the preparation for Wimbledon slightly late. Only at Halle he started. The 2 matches he played there weren't convincing either, with a close match against Nuno Borges, and as just said, he lost against Zhang. His highest placement at Wimbledon came in 2023 with a semi-final, so that's quite impressive. But back then he had a better preparation. Kovacic on the other hand had a year where he improved on all surfaces and reached the top 100. With that, he was at Roland Garros with an unlucky draw, gonna be honest, against Dimitrov, and he now has another unlucky draw against Medvedev. I think with the experience, Medvedev is still gonna get this W. Then we have Muller against Gaston. Muller hasn't played matches on grass yet. He chose for the Challengers tournament on clay as well. And that is despite like exceeding expectation at Wimbledon last year, where he won against Rineknecht on a close and had a close matchup with Alcaraz. Gaston basically did the same as Muller, but played some matches on grass to qualify for Wimbledon. He won against Michizuki, Prismic and Kukushin. Gaston has one win at Wimbledon against Popyrin back in 2022. I think this will be another close contested match, but I think the 3 extra grass matches will help Gaston to win. So yeah, I'm predicting Gaston is gonna win. Then we have Shevchenko against Humbert. Humbert grass season started good with like a semi-final in Zetogenbosch, which is of course in the Netherlands, but then he lost 2 first-round matchups at Queen's Club and Mallorca. Humbert has reached the second week at Wimbledon once, that was back in 2019. Shevchenko on the other hand is performing alright, but not great when it comes to Grand Slam. He has a record of 2 wins and 3 losses in the first round at a Grand Slam, which isn't great, with the best result also being like a second round. I think with that said, I think Humbert will actually get this W. And then we have Wawrinka against Broom, with a wild card. Wawrinka's endurance and fitness are his biggest downfalls at the moment. Because of that, he has also like lost 10 out of 14 matches this year. And with Wimbledon being his least favorite Grand Slam, with grass's least favorite underground, he didn't do any matches in preparation. So it's not looking good for Wawrinka. Last year he did get in the third round though, but he has failed 7 times like to get out of the first round in Wimbledon, so I don't expect too much from him. Broom on the other hand played a lot of matches on grass this year. He played 30 matches and won 8 of them. This will be his debut on a Grand Slam, and so his debut for the main draw of Wimbledon. But even with like the low expectation of Wawrinka, I think with the experience, he will still get this past like Broom. Then we have the match Alcaraz against Lajal. I don't know how to say it. Alcaraz has a quite like a shaky season until he came to Roland Garros, which of course he won. Everyone then actually thought his form is fully back, but his 2 matches that he played on grass looked a little bit shaky. He nearly lost like the second set against Cerundolo, but he won that. But then he lost against Jack Draper, who's actually playing pretty well. Last year he basically showed that he can be good on grass because he actually won Wimbledon, but this preparation isn't the perfect preparation for it. Lachal qualified by beating Passaro, Roja, and then an informed James Duckworth, which is like quite impressive. It is his first Grand Slam main draw, so Wimbledon is also his first time in the main draw. I think with that said, Alcaraz will still get the W, and I think the playtime will actually help him later on this tournament. Then we have Bergs against Cazaux. Zizou Bergs has 4 main tour wins this season. That is as much as he had like in his whole previous career. He's like on top playing against top players. Like he put on a set against Nadal on clay, which is pretty impressive, and also did pretty well some other matches. He qualified by beating Jessica Herbert and Yevseyev. He has been at Wimbledon once last year and lost the first match. Cazaux on the other hand is currently also on a 7-match losing streak, which isn't great. Last year Cazaux had like a better form than this, but still couldn't win the first match at Wimbledon. And with like the better form, I think I actually expect Bergs to win this one. Then we have Lloyd Harris, I think it is, against Mickelson, the American. Mickelson has actually had an alright grass season this far. He reached the quarterfinal in Mallorca with a 3-set loss against Öfner. But he did beat grass specialist Manarino pretty convincingly. He hasn't played at Wimbledon before, so he's lacking a kind of experience there. But Harris is actually having a great season on, Harris is his opponent. He's actually having a great season on grass. He's like 11 wins and 2 losses. 3 of those wins were, of course, for qualifying, where he defeated Vavasori, Lofhagen, and Grenier. And most notably, most of his wins were on the challenger level, the level below ATP, but that's of course still a good level. I think this is gonna be another hard match to predict, but I think Mickelson, with the ATP level experience that he has mainly, he will get this win. And then another hard matchup: Van der Zalschulp, of course, Dutch, let's go, against Brody. Van der Zalschulp has struggled with form and like his mental. He's even spoken about retirement, and he's only 28, so that's like really, really, really early. We've only 1 match played on grass in his home country in the Netherlands at Stokenbos, and losing that match against an out-form player like really added to the disappointment. But he is up against Brody, who's struggling with fitness issues at the moment. He had like a 3-month injury break before he actually lost like his first match in Eastbourne. He does got 6 wins at Wimbledon, and those are his only Grand Slam wins. So Wimbledon is his favorite basically. Both are looking pretty bad at the moment, with that said, but I think Van der Zandschulp will finally get like a W. He freaking needs it. He fucking needs it. For real. And then we have Vukic against Eufner. Eufner misses ATP title by becoming second in Mallorca, which was a bit of a bummer for him. He then lost to Tabilo. But he played some great matches before that on grass. Eufner has had a great Wimbledon, first Wimbledon 2017, but after that he actually hasn't won a match at Wimbledon main draw. Vukic has had an alright grass season. He reached like the semi-finals in Eastbourne, where he was a lucky loser, so he was basically lucky to be there. Vukic did win his first round at Wimbledon last year, which was his Wimbledon debut. And I think, with that said, I think it's going to be quite close. And I think the only thing why I think Vukic will win this is because he has got a 2-on-1 record against Eufner, and like that win, one of those wins came in 2024. But that's like a really hard match to predict. Then it's Mensik against Bublik. Bublik has had a bad grass season this far, I'm gonna be honest. He withdrew from Stuttgart with like a weird reasoning, which was no motivation to play or something like that. And following that, he literally lost 2 out of the 3 matches he played on grass. Last year, he had like a better preparation and reached the quarterfinals at Wimbledon, so he can actually have a good Wimbledon. Mensik, on the other hand, also doesn't look too comfortable on grass, but it is notably his first real season on grass, and with 2 wins out of 5 matches, that isn't really that bad. But I think, with that said, Bublik is still like my favorite, and Bublik will still win. Then we have Bautista Agut against Marterer. Bautista Agut, in the early ages of a career, like loved grass. He claimed his maiden ATP title on grass in Den Bosch in the Netherlands, or Zetogenbosch, and made his only Grand Slam semi-final at Wimbledon back in 2019. But since then, it has been like nothing close to that. This season he reached like the quarterfinal in Zetogenbosch and in Mallorca. Not come further than that. And Marterer is actually like coming in with some fitness problems, as he had them like a couple of those moments in recent years as well. Even with this, last year he reached the second round at Wimbledon. 2 years back he reached the second round of Wimbledon with those struggles, and last year even the third round. With them both struggling, I'm going to choose. I think I'm gonna say Bautista Agut. Also due to him having played more matches on grass this season. Then it is time for Bellucci against Benjamin Shelton, or Ben Shelton. Shelton has had like an awful grass season. He lost 3 out of the 4 matches against like underdogs like James Dirkwart, but as I said, he had a great season. Mepetashi Pericard and Paul Jupp. Grass is also the only service where Shelton hasn't performed yet. He has like a 3-on-6 record. At Wimbledon, he was eliminated in the second round last year, which was his first year on Wimbledon. On a positive note, though, just to say it, he has won the first round matchups the last 4 Grand Slams. So that is a good stat. Bellucci last year lost in the qualifying final, but did qualify this year with wins against Djokovic, Zapata Miralles and Goffin. At Roland Garros he also qualified, and he had his first match against a top 30 player, which is Tiafoe. He then put up a good fight, but lost in a 5-setter. I hope he can do that again against Ben Shelton, like the number 14 placed, I think it was. But I think Ben Shelton will win this and will elevate his level a little bit more, and like as he progresses he will get better. I truly think so. And then you have Carreño Busta, I don't know, against Griekspoor, of course, Dutch, let's go. Griekspoor has had an alright season this far. He reached the semi-finals in his home country, like in Zetogenbosch, which is a tournament he actually won last year. But his performances weren't like the most convincing. In Halle, he did play like a great match at Halle against Yannick Sinner. He won the first set there, had like 3 break chances in the second set, but couldn't use them, and then eventually lost the second and the third set. He actually hasn't made it past the second round in 4 attempts, and last year even lost in the first round. But this is Griekspoor's best season yet if you only look at Grand Slams. So maybe he has to pick up some confidence from that. Carreño Busta, on the other hand, has only played 5 matches this year and lost 4 of them because he's been injured a lot. He has been in the tournament 7 times and lost in the first round every time. So I think with that, Griekspoor is gonna kill it and win it. Then we have Nagal against Kekmanovic. Kekmanovic has played like 3 cross tournaments this season. He lost 2 matches against Griekspoor and Sonego with like only tiebreakers, which was a weird thing. Like I think he played like Griekspoor, and he had like 7-6, 7-6, 7-6. So both like Griekspoor won that, but only on tiebreakers. And against Sonego, this like in 2 sets he lost, but it was 7-6, 7-6. So it were really close matches. And later on he lost again in the quarterfinal. He lost against Purcell. And that's actually quite impressive for the person who had to retire like the second round of Garros like a month earlier. He does hold a negative record on grass though, but it doesn't look like too bad. He also won 3 out of the 4 first round matches at Wimbledon, which is of course a good stat. Nagal, on the other hand, has never played in the main draw of Wimbledon and hasn't played a competitive match on grass since 2018. With that, I think Kekmanovic will be my pick. And then we have Navone against Sonego. Sonego actually hasn't had the best preparation with 1 out of 8 finals loss. In his younger years, he didn't play that much at the grass, but his first ATP he won. He had like several good weeks, and the first ATP he actually won was on grass. I think it was in Halle, I'm not sure about that. Sonego has also cleared the first round in 8 of his 10 last slams. So in the last 10 slams, he's won 8 of the first round matches. Navone, on the other hand, has played 1 match on grass before the season and lost that match. But this season he played 2 and lost both of them as well. Because of this, I think Sonego will be the favorite right there. Then we have Tommy Paul against Martinez. Paul had like an amazing grass season 2023 where he had like 9 wins out of the 14 matches he played. Although he didn't win a title that year, with I think a loss in the finals in Eastbourne, I think it was. This year he won the ATP title on grass in London, beating Korda and Musetti on the way. Paul also has like a really good track record when it comes to Wimbledon. He's reached the 1/16 finals in 2022 and reached the 3rd round in 2023. Martinez played 13 grass matches in his whole career and lost 9 of them. And with that stat, I actually think that that he's gonna win. That Paul is gonna win. And then it's Virtanen against Purcell. Purcell has had an alright grass season with as highlights of his career 2nd place in Eastbourne, which like really was his highlight. With that, he has 8 wins in 11 matches this season on grass, which is compared to his 2003 season really great because he lost all the 3 matches he played back then on grass. Virtanen, on the other hand, has finally made a Grand Slam main draw to the qualifying. He had lost like at both Grand Slams. He lost the qualifying, lost the last 2 Grand Slams, so Australian Open and the Roland Garros. He beat Agamenone Richard in 3 sets, so it was 2-1. And then once against Burachaga in 4 sets with 3-1. I think with the good but pretty tough week from Purcell in Eastbourne, I think he's the favorite here due to his form. And then we have Sinner against Hanfman. Of course, Sinner is of course the new number 1 after Roland Garros. In his first tournament as number 1, he navigated through some tough challenges without having the greatest tennis, but he still won in a 3-setter against Griekspoor, Marathon and Jan-Lennart Struff. After that, he defeated Zhang and Hurkacz to claim the title in Halle, which was his only grass tournament this year. He also has like a pretty good track record on Wimbledon. 2 out of his 3 losses on the main draw were against Djokovic, which is of course not really a shame on Wimbledon. Also, Sinner first half final at a Grand Slam was in Wimbledon. Then in combination with the poorly formed Hanfman, who was 5-55 at the start of the year and has dropped to 95 at this moment, makes me pick Jannik Sinner. And with that, I've actually completed all the matches that are being played on the 1st of July. I will try and make a video for tomorrow, but I'm feeling very ill and I'm happy that I made it through this video. I do want to thank you all for watching. Please have a great day and I will see you.